When I die, the mine dies. These were the last words spoken by a Katzie First Nation prospector named Slumach, who had struck it rich somewhere in the mountains of southern British Columbia just before he was hanged for murder in 1891. It's believed these last words cursed the Pitt Lake region, dooming all who searched for Slumach's lost gold mine. Nearly 100 years later, in 1989, a local lumberjack and prospector named Rob Nicholson stumbled upon a cave while on the Terra Glacier. In this cave, Rob Nicholson believes he found Slumach's lost mine, except there was more than gold waiting for him. While he reports that piles of gold were piled high in pools of water, he also recounts someone else being there, or more correctly, something else. Rob Nicholson went on to say that a tall, thin man with gray skin stood there within the cave. This gray man would address Rob, telling him, "Retreat and live, or proceed and die." Nicholson, deciding to heed the being's warnings, left the cave empty-handed. So where is this cave? And was it Slumach's lost mine? Well, we know the land between the Terra Rosa and Stave glaciers was where one of the most famous treasure hunters to search for Slumach's gold was looking. Robert Volcanic Brown had been searching the area around the glaciers for years, and while he never claimed to find the cave, he found something near the glacier. Something that called him back year after year after year. Volcanic Brown would fail to check in September of 1931, and a search party led by game warden George Stevenson would track Brown to the bottom of Stave Glacier, where he left behind a deserted camp and 11 ounces of gold. Ultimately, Volcanic Brown would vanish somewhere near or inside of the Terra Rosa wilderness, and the leader of his search party, George Stevenson, would refuse to ever return to that country. We also know that the area where the Terra Rosa Glacier sits upon is sacred ground. Young Katzie and First Nation warriors would seek out their spirit animals in these forests, setting off into the bush to prove themselves. It's also said that Sasquatch are native to this land and that Katzie people recognize their ability to cross between the spirit world and the natural world at will. On top of all that, legends of stargates and a light within the mountain are prevalent throughout the Pitt Lake region. Adventurers like Adam Palmer have found countless pictographs depicting spiral-like designs throughout the Pitt Lake region, designs that are very similar to those found throughout the Southwest. So, is it possible that these spiral symbols seen throughout North America, specifically those of British Columbia, and especially the ones around the Terra Rosa Glacier, represent some sort of stargate or portal? And has the gold mine remained hidden for so long because one must not only find this stargate, this light within the mountain, but also know how to open it? It's these very questions of interdimensional gold and portals that span both time and space that bring encounters like Rob Nicholson's to the forefront. Could Volcanic Brown have found Slumach's cave, working year after year after year to crack the code and break the curse, finally unlocking the secrets of Terra Rosa in the fall of 1931, only to fall victim to his own greed by making the wrong choice? But in doing so, leaving the gateway, the portal to Slumach's cave open for an adventurous lumberjack named Rob Nicholson to stumble across. Honestly, we could speculate all day long, but the fact is, until an adventurer like Adam Palmer or another Slumach gold hunter discovers the cave, we'll just never know for sure.